Oh, good evening, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino beer review. Today we have a beer review to do that has this beer, and this beer is a collaboration beer. And this is Brimstone Brewing Company in Ridgeway, Ontario, and they're collaborating with Community Beer Works of Buffalo, New York, and this is Over the Border Porter at 5.5% alcohol by volume. Now, Buffalo and Ridgeway, well, Buffalo and Fort Erie, are basically connected. That's where you cross if you're crossing directly into Buffalo. You can cross from Queenston into Lewiston. You can cross from Niagara into Niagara, or from Fort Erie into Buffalo, as the three bridges within 20 minutes of my house. So, always great to see this, and I'm surprised that there isn't more of these, and I'm sure there will be more of them in the future. I've got my angle cell glass because one, I like the glass, and two, I don't really have a nice Brimstone glass. I have their shakers, and I don't have a Buffalo Beer Works Buffalo Community Beer Works glass. So yeah, here we are. So this was dropped off today. Today being what, August 15th, so fairly recent. I don't know when this was bottled. It doesn't say it on the bottle. Come on, Jay. Put the dates on your bottles, guys. You don't date your bottles. How am I supposed to know when they were bottled? Put your dates on your bottles. Oh, I can't do the accent today. Sometimes I can get Greg's accent really well, and sometimes I can't. Black beer. Black beer. Mocha head. There are bubbles and tunnels already forming. Yeah, there's a snap, crackle, pop to that. That's going to switch over. That was my cell phone telling me there's a message. We're back to recording on the old Sony Handycams. It's because the cell phones have been overheating lately, and the image sensor starts flaring up. So we went back to one of the HD. I can't guarantee that once I move it from AVC HD to something I can edit, that they'll still be HD, but as of right now they're HD. And it's the old one, not the one I bring to breweries. It's the other HD camera I had. I don't know where my standard definition camera is, or I'd start using that. Anyway, now I've rambled too much. Let's give this beer a sniff, shall we? Now, I don't know what's supposed to be in this. I don't know if they just went a standard porter. I don't know if they went a chocolate porter, a maple porter. I don't know what they did. Smell-wise, it kind of reminds me of just a standard porter. There's some chocolate on there. There's a bit of coffee on there. There's a bit of coffee, chocolate, bit of neutral sweetness. Coffee, chocolate, neutral sweetness, a little bit of char, and what's that last one? There's one thing I can't pick up. I'm getting like a little bit of char, a neutral sweetness, and then coffee and chocolate, and there's something else in there. Again, I just can't pick it up. Beer smells like a standard porter. It might not be a standard porter, but it smells like a really good standard porter. It reminds me, scent-wise, it reminds me of something like Knowledge's Porter or Clifford Porter. So very nice porter scent off of this. Let's try the beer, shall we? Cheerio. Pinky out. Okay, I had heard from a few people that this wasn't a great porter, and I had heard that from a few different people that drink with me from time to time. They told me, "Oh, I had the collab porter from Brimstone, it wasn't all that good." And I'm like, okay, I like hearing your opinions, but I like to try a beer myself to know, and I actually like this. Now, that being said, I will put a star on it. that if this is advertised as a maple porter or a chocolate porter or a wheat porter or anything else, maybe my mind would change. But in my ignorant, blind mind eye right now, I say ignorant because I don't look up anything on the beers other than really what I can find on the label. In my mind's blind eye, in my own blind eyes, I think that this is supposed to just be a standard porter. And at that, I think it's up there with my other two favorite just standard porters, and those being Clifford's and Knowledge's Porter from, and Stranger Than Fiction from Collective Arts. So those are my three probably just favorite, just standard porters. And I think this guy would fit right up there. I almost want to go out and get a can of the other two that I know I can find, the Clifford and the Stranger Than Fiction Collective Arts one, because I know I'm not going to find Knowledge's Porter anymore. But I'd love to get those two and do these three blind, because I do think this is really good and up there with those ones. So we have a medium mouthfeel, very low carbonation, nice charred flavor that goes from the beginning to the end. It's there right at the front of your tongue. It's still there at the end, but it's very subtle. It's very subtle, very smoky. Little chocolate and little malt sweetness up at the forefront that stays right till about the middle. With the end, you get that charred wood, and you're getting that kind of dirty, earthy, almost English-esque hoppiness. Just a solid drinking beer. Again, it's only 5.5% alcohol. I had to look. For some reason, 5.8 was in my mind. But only 5.5% alcohol, so you could drink a bunch of them. And, I mean, you get this cold, and that charred flavor will tame a little bit more if you're not into that charred flavor. You can tame it a little bit by making the beer colder. I like drinking my beer at basement temperature. So, I mean, the 4-pack of them is sitting here on the table with me. Nice beer. Very nice beer. So, I've given Stranger Than Fiction, and I've given Knowledge's Porter, and I've given Clifford Porter all between 9.25 and 9s out of 10. I think this one is right up there with them. I don't know if I think it's a little behind them. I don't think I don't think it's above them. I think it's right there with them. So there's no way this would get more than a 9.25. But where would I actually put it on the list? I think of the four of them that I'm saying are probably my top just standard porters here in Ontario. Of the four of those, I think this one is a little more charred on the background than the others, which makes me like it a little bit less than some of them. However, I think stylistically it still fits pretty much perfectly. For that, see, I'm tossing. I know what stylistically I'm giving it. Stylistically, I think this is a 9 out of 10. Stylistically, I think this is a porter that could win awards. You put it just in a dry porter or anything like that category, I think you can win some awards with it. Personally, I'm rattling around either an 8.75 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. I'm not 100% sure if I think it's world class or if I think it's just excellent. So you know what we'll go back to doing what I used to do when I was younger and stupider, and we'll give it a chug test, and then we'll give it a mark. So cheers, guys. Can I chug it? That's I know that's not something that should matter at all, but I did talk about the only thing I dislike about this beer is that burnt charred taste, And if that burnt charred taste is enough to make me not able to chug it, then yeah, it's probably an 8.75. But if it blends with the beer enough that I don't really taste it until I'm done drinking, then it's probably worth a 9, because that means it's very well balanced and can just go down. It's a great sipping beer, but, excuse me, a little gassy. It has to be this beer too. I wouldn't expect that. I've only taken like 3 or 4 swigs of it. I wouldn't expect to be that gassy from it. But it tastes great gassy, well, on the way up. Let's try it. Cheers. On the way up, on the burp. Cheers. Okay. Yeah. Just a great standard porter. Out of 10, like I said, it's worth the same amount as the other ones. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 stylistically. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 overall. That means it's porter dance time. So porter dance, motherfuckers! This is a great beer. Thank you guys. Bye.